Hi, I'm Jimmy Smith, the Florida Coalition's Director for Concerned Veterans for America, better known as CVA. And this is On Target with CVA. And today we have as a guest Kelly Kowall, who is the founder of My Warrior's Place. And I want to read, before I introduce her, a little something that's on her homepage: giving the gift of hope and healing to those who give us the gift of freedom. Those words, when I first read that on the website, well, gave me goosebumps, because truthfully, a lot of veterans who come home from war, be it Afghanistan or Vietnam, and even law enforcement who had to see challenging things in the world, quite often need that hope and that healing. And to have people in our community who are willing to step up to work on this is incredible. So with that, Kelly, please tell us about the organization and how you came to the effect of doing this and the intention of it, and anything else that you feel is important, because again, I think this is really a great thing that you're doing.
Thank you so much for, first of all, for having me on your show. My Warrior's Place was founded after my son was killed in Afghanistan. And I saw firsthand how it dramatically affected his brothers in arms and how it really imploded our family as well. You're never really, even though you know that possibility of getting that knock on the door is there, you're never prepared for it. And I've talked to a lot of military service members and veterans, and they're never prepared for it either. I mean, they know that that's a possibility. They even know going into a battle that the person on their left and the person on their right may not survive. And yet it's still a shock. The difference being when our soldiers or active duty military are in a war zone, they don't have the luxury of being able to really grieve the loss of their brothers in arms, because by grieving them, your body shuts down. You go into a frozen state, and you have to stay alert over there. Your life depends on it. That of your brothers in arms depends on it. So basically what you're doing is taking this thing called grief, stuffing it in a bottle and putting the cork on it, and you're carrying it that way through the rest of your time while you're deployed. The only time you may open it is just to shove another comrade in there that you lost. And by the time you get home to be able to grieve, you don't want to open up that genie. You just got out of hell. You know, you don't want to go back into hell. And I can tell you firsthand, grief is hell. I mean, it is. For Americans to expect our military service members to be able to go to war and not have it affect them, they're basically saying those people are psychopaths, because that's the only kind of people that it does not affect. And that's not who our military service members are. Those that go into the service, whether it's the military, whether it's as a firefighter, whether it's a law enforcement officer, they're doing it because they want to do something that's above self. They want to do something that's going to make a positive difference in the world. They're doing something by putting their own life on the line to save others. That is not a psychopath. That is somebody who has a heart and who really cares. And so how can you expect them not to come back changed is totally crazy to me. And when I saw a veteran or military service member struggling with that label that people put on them, and that they're not supposed to have feelings, so to speak, I found it ridiculous. And I tried to find some place that they could go to get the healing and the hope, because if you don't have healing and hope, there's no reason for you to live. And that's why our suicide rate is so high among our American heroes. Why the drugs and alcohol are so prevalent? Because they're losing hope. And we need to be there for them. And so that's why I made it my mission to provide a place that could give them the healing and the hope that they needed, to live a life they deserve, a happy life that they deserve.
Well, Kelly, and first and foremost, let me tell you that our whole nation, grieves with you in the fact of having lost your son, because while we don't have as a nation the knowledge of who your son was, we have a knowledge of the sacrifice of people like your son and what they've done for freedom and for our nation. So with that, our condolences, and also our great appreciation, the fact that you raised a hero. And you didn't only stop and do that, you took what is an obvious tragedy in life and made something really uniquely good out of this. And Kelly, this is really important to me because as a soldier of 20 years, it is changing in the world to where we start understanding more and more the issue of healing and mental health and so many things. But the government can't fix that problem or solve those issues. Quite often in the recent past, it's been known where the government has done things like given medication to soldiers to try to deal with PTSD and emotional issues. And we've learned after years and years that the best thing to do is people in the community to step up to do the healing, to fix those issues. So we greatly appreciate the fact that you're doing all these things. What do you think are some of the true challenges of not only facing loss, but the issue of dealing with combat stresses? Because I assume that you've had people who come to your location not only because of loss, but because of combat stresses, because of being in the war zone and on the front line, so to speak. How do you handle those kind of individuals as well?
Well, I think a lot of it is you're never going to forget. I mean, that's something you're never going to get out of your mind. And people think that time heals all wounds. It doesn't. Time is just time. And what you have to do, just like with the loss and that you've experienced, but also those stressors of being in combat, is to learn to integrate that into your life, knowing that you've got to walk beside it for the rest of your life, not allow it to be in front of you, blocking you from moving forward, but learning how to integrate it to where you can have it walk beside you and not impede you moving forward or healing.
Kelly, and that's really important because a lot of people don't understand what you just said. And that's why those people who do want to get help and do need assistance should look to people like yourself. And, I hope anybody who watches this will research your organization, and potentially reach out to you, especially if they're within the area. Of course, we do things across the entire state, and there's other organizations that do things as well. But if they're in your area, within that region, I definitely suggest that they check you out. Do you have some examples, though, to give them as a cause to come and visit you? So as an example, some stories, without being too specific, of people who have come to your location and gotten that healing, that hope, and left feeling better and more positive and having a brighter future.
Yeah, I have a couple that I can talk about right off the top of my head. One was actually a family unit. He multiple tours, I think around 13 different tours that he did. Wow. 2 little girls, his service dog, his wife, and somebody had told him about us. And, he was searching for something that was going to help, even though he was getting treatment through the VA. I mean, he just felt like there had to be something else out there. And somebody told them about us. They live in Georgia. They came down. We were actually able to get him out on a fishing trip, and he was the fish were stripping the bait all day long, and they got to laughing about it. And all of a sudden he realized he hadn't laughed in years. And it's like this switch went off that, okay, I can have fun. I can, do things again. And so he came back and was staying, he and his family actually were staying at my warrior's place. And his wife came to us and said, I don't know what you did, but I'm starting to feel like I'm getting my husband back. They now come twice a year for 1 week. And it's kind of like their booster shot to get them through the year. This last time they came, he was out on the docks fishing with his daughters. He was taking them out kayaking. And his wife came over to me and said, he's left his dog in the house, his service dog in the house, and the service dog is having a meltdown because this is the first time he's ever gone anywhere without the dog, and he's paying total attention to the girls. And she said, I really felt like he was going to be one of the 22. And she said, I don't feel that way anymore. And so I know that we've made a difference in his life. My Warrior's Place, although we offer very programs that are very regimented as far as what you go through, My Warrior's Place in itself can be what the person needs it to be, just by coming out there and being able to be in a place that has so much nature around them, that is so calming, so peaceful. We've had them come out and say, they've gotten the best night's sleep they've had in years. We've had them come out there just being able to talk to someone who understands and gets it, who's there to listen. We're not there to talk, to preach to them, to talk to them. We're there to listen. And sometimes we'll offer a little bit of advice because maybe that's something we can recommend something to them, but we're really there to listen and to help provide that healing and hope that they need.
Well, my big concern is, and I hope whoever just heard you reaches out to you, and we're going to put this on our social media and on our YouTube page, and you'll be more than welcome to share it, of course, if you want, and please do. But I hope whoever hears this understands that one of the biggest challenges that we as a nation still face is that, we're churning out more of a situation because we're still at war in Afghanistan and Syria and troops in Iraq. And those are the areas in which we're finding the stressors being developed, in which then the troops need to come home to have organizations like yours to step up and take care of them. CVA has been very forthcoming on the fact that we truly support the effort to end the endless wars. I would love for you to kind of just give a personal thought towards the fact that we are in wars with no purpose that are developing these situations that you have to deal with.
I don't think we should ever be in a war for the sake of war. We unfortunately, I think, have kind of lost our way and what the true objective was when we went over there. And, we either need to get that objective back and finish it or bring our guys home. It's been one of the longest running wars we've ever had in our entire history. That should say something. The other aspect of it is we need to make sure, if we're going to send them to war, that they have all the equipment that they need, and they need to be able to fight the way they need to fight without their hands tied behind their back. I think makes it even more difficult for those going over there to have to use equipment that's either broken or not what they need it to be, or to be over there and have their hands tied behind their back where they can't do what they know they need to do to win the war because of situations back here. And it's a shame that if we're going to send them to war, that we don't give them 100%.
Well, Kelly, you're spot on with that. And we, of course, obviously agree. The goal is for CVA to work with various groups to do things when they come home, but also to support the effort to tell our leaders, let's end the endless wars. But it's a blessing that no matter what happens with leaders at Congress and at the national level or international policies, that we have people in our community within the state of Florida and of course across the nation that are willing to step up and make a difference, like My Warriors Place and what you guys do. So with that, do me a favor, go ahead and give your website, tell them where you're at, and potentially any contact information that you can, and we'll go ahead and wrap this up.
Okay. My Warriors Place, our website is just that, www.mywarriorsplace.org. We are located in Ruskin, Florida, and our phone number is 813-321-0880. And if they call and get our voicemail, please leave a message. Someone will get back to you right away. We have 5 acres that are right directly on the Little Manatee River, 1 mile from the bay. And we have wonderful little cottages, as well as canoes and kayaks and a fishing boat and a pleasure boat. We have just a wonderful outdoor event area. And I can't say enough about the place. I mean, it's truly magical.
Well, Kelly, you made a huge difference in your community and to veterans, and apparently even to veterans in Georgia. So I truly appreciate all you're doing, and God bless you. And thank you for taking the time, your very busy time, and coming on with me on the On Target series that we do and having this conversation, because the goal is to support policy for CVA, but also to work for the betterment of our servicemen and women so they can enjoy the freedom and prosperity they work so hard for. So again, Kelly, God bless you and thank you.
Thank you.